Hello everybody. It is like 1:30 my time. So I always think about things to talk about in videos. And one of those things I thought that I would hit is because most of the people that look on our sites, whether it be Crohn's disease, gastroparesis, I think it's CIPO. I don't know exactly what it stands for, but I know it's about your bowels and it's really bad. And one of our other bloggers, she has it and she talks about it. And there's other issues that's out there, and so we're all chronically ill, and then there's new people to the gastroparesis and the Crohn's world, and they're single. So a lot of them have the same questions that I had when I was first dealt with my actual diagnosis. I was actually with somebody, and he left me the second time I was in the hospital. And so between dealing with him leaving and having a job but no home, and him taking my car because it was in his name, but I had made every single payment on it, I was at a loss. And and then I'm thinking, well, here I'm already depressed, and I was already told that that with the changes of your body, you'll get some depression. And I really didn't think much of it because I already take medication for depression. So, excuse me, I gotta take something to drink. My throat gets really dry. So, where was I? So, okay, yeah. So, I had only been out of the hospital for a month whenever I went back in with another bowel obstruction. And so I contacted a friend, and she came and got me when I was released, and I stayed with her. And when you go in having these problems and you're with somebody, it's totally different than when you come out and you have nobody. And you've already got the fears. You already know what's going to happen. You know that there's no cure. You know that you got to keep your insurance up, because if you don't, you're only going to get worse. And you have to have your ostomy supplies, which run about $1,200 a month. And so it's scary. And now you have to pay more on rent. And now you gotta get a car. You gotta put down payment on it. You gotta put the first, half of the rent, half of the insurance down. I mean, you just got a lot of stuff stacked up against you. And the last thing that's on your mind right at the time is your health, but yet it's not letting you forget it. And then thinking about finding somebody else because you're still pining over the last one. So a couple months went by, and I still had guys hitting on me. But once they found out about the ostomy, they all kind of scattered. They didn't want to have anything to do with me. And it's just I don't know. It's not like I don't have a bag there. And it's not like that I'm pooing all over the place. And it's not something I can control. And I guess it was just a turn off. So I keep putting when to tell somebody when you're dating tips, because I follow other cronies, other crone sites, along with my Facebook page. Oh, here we go. I'm so sorry. I guess I'm just gonna be known as the yawner on YouTube. But it's still not that easy. I mean, you can read all these things, but once a guy finds out, they're not too eager to go any further than 1 or 2 dates. I mean, I had one, let's see, the very first date I went on, I weighed less than 90 pounds, in which I had gained back 25 pounds from being in the hospital, because I got down to like 65 pounds. I was knocking on heaven's door, literally. And when I got out of the hospital, and I didn't have all my clothes. One of my good friends, Ashley, she came and got me, and I had some of my clothes, but I didn't have all of them. And so she was a little bit taller than me. I was a little bit smaller than her, but I was still able to wear her clothes. They were holding back my medication, my ostomy supplies, and so one night I was just fed up, and I ran into their house, and I should have never been running, because of all the things I had surgeries done a month before, and it was over 3 miles. And I made her made his mom open the door up to give me my belongings, because I told her it was against the law to hold my medication and my ostomy supplies, and told her if she didn't give them to me, I would get the police. So I got that, and then I came back with a U-Haul. The U-Haul was too big for what I had in the home, but I wanted to make sure it was only one trip, and that was it, because I didn't want to deal with them. So, with that, that day that I had the U-Haul, I'd been talking to some guys on different sites. Some they were just people I talked to. They brought a psychiatrist in to see me because I had become more depressed, and my anxiety, it just went through the roof, and my surgeon knew me quite well. So, as you can imagine, when I went to my ex's house to get my belongings, I had somebody go with me, and between the two of them, they got all my belongings out, and his mom was driving me nuts. So I just went and sat in the front of the U-Haul, and I was just bawling, and I called the guy that wanted to meet me, who'd been married and divorced 3 times, and I'd only been married and divorced once. I told him the truth about what was going on, and I said, I can't go out tonight. And he just blew me away, because he told me, well, you've been through a lot. Just let me take you out and let's have fun. So that's what we did. And I wasn't chasing after anybody. I wasn't. I went on a few dates. I pretty much stayed to myself. I frequented the same places, so everybody knew me and I felt safe. I learned quickly. The first attempt at having a relationship, I learned quickly after that one that it's better not to hide the fact that I have my little buddy on my side, because once they find out, they tend to take off, and sometimes you might hear back from them, and then other times you don't, and that's just a fact of life. So I learned to just be upfront and honest. Hey, do you know what an ostomy is? Do you know what a colostomy is? Because usually people know, they know what a colostomy is, but they don't know what an ileostomy is, because it's very rare that you hear anything about an ileostomy. I actually had never heard of an ileostomy. Everything was colostomy because everything was coming out of their colon. But mine was an ileostomy. From the ileum. The ileum's pulled up through there, and then that causes your stomach. Anyway, so that was a rough year. And I was on Plenty of Fish. I was on Match.com. And I met some really nice guys. But then I kind of could figure them out, because then one guy that I met, he was really hot. And he lived in Prospect. And I don't know if you know what Prospect is here in Louisville. But Prospect is one of our end of town, which actually isn't very far from the house that I had in Linden, where you have to have a lot of money to live there. And if you don't have a lot of money, there are some nice houses there. They're just old. But I seen his pictures in his house on his Facebook, and I had overheard him talking to somebody saying, "I'm gonna beat you on Facebook friends," blah blah blah. They were having a race to see who could have the most friends on Facebook. So I never heard back from him, but he had like 4 kids, and I'm not interested in being somebody else's mama or dealing with somebody else's kids while they go out and do whatever they want to do. So it was alright. And I went out with somebody who worked with AT&T and worked on the towers, changing them over to 4G. Who else did I go out with? Oh, I went out with somebody else who was a player. He actually ended up dating a friend of mine, and she called me, and I looked him up on Plenty of Fish to see if he was cheating on her. And then finally my husband, and he stalked me on Plenty of Fish. And when I first met him in person, I didn't have any makeup. I had some eyeliner and blush and mascara, a t-shirt and a pair of shorts on, with tennis shoes on. And that was me. And so I figured if he could like me for who I really am, then that's the guy for me. So I ended up telling him that night what I have, because I don't want to get invested in somebody and then they find out that I have a bag on my stomach. I mean, clearly that's exactly what it is. I mean, no sugarcoating it. And if you can't take that, then there's no reason to be together. because the bag's with me forever. And at that time, I didn't have my colon and rectum removed. So it was going to be a part of my life, and it's a part of my life that has turned out to be for the better for me. So, my advice to young ladies and young men, if you have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis and you no longer have your colon and you have an ostomy, then I suggest that whoever you go out with and you think, you don't know, but you've been talking to him for a while, you might go out for a little bit, you better be honest up front. Don't be like, oh, well, by the way, I had this thing on my side, and, I mean, I can hide mine. People don't ever know that I have it. Sometimes I have to change it 3 or 4 times a day, and my skin gets extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Irritated. That's it. My skin gets really, really irritated, and it gets to the point to where when I pull the barrier strips off from around my ostomy, it takes my skin with it. So, yep. I think being upfront at first is better than waiting until the night that you're intimate, or he runs in the bathroom and catches you changing, or you two hopping in the shower together and he sees it, or you have to change it and you come out with the stuff in there, or if you have the bag that goes in it for odor control. So I could sit here and I could talk about ostomies all day, but through my own experience, I think it's better to be upfront and honest that you have an ostomy. I mean, if you beat the battle of getting rid of your colon and you're still rolling, then hey, come join the party. A colon's overrated anyway, right? So, leave in the comments how you feel about that, and if you told your significant other, and how long it took you to tell them, and how they reacted. When I told the gentleman about my ostomy up front, that was my husband that I met through Plenty of Fish. And the first date I met him was, he was in a bowling league. And after they were done bowling, we talked. And we closed down the bowling alley. And I did. I gave him the option to take off running. I told him exactly what was wrong with me. I even showed him. He didn't know what the hell I was talking about. But he does now. And he says that if he had never had to do some of the things with his daughter that he's had to do, that he probably would have been one of them that ran too. But I have faith in God. I don't know about everybody else, but I do. I have faith in God. And I always believe that God puts people and things and other extraordinary circumstances in our lives for a reason. And I think that he put my husband in my life at that certain point to help me. To bring me up. 'Cause I was kind of in a funk. I was in a routine, and I hate roommates. And I had a roommate that was turning into a bitch because she had a boyfriend now. And, if I didn't have the money to go out, I didn't go out. I stayed at home. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be an adult. If you don't have no money, then you don't go out and spend the money that you don't have. So, yeah. I've had a pretty good life with my husband. We'll be separate. We've been together for 5 years, and we'll be married 5 years in March. And there isn't anything that he wouldn't do for me. He's my rock. So, I do. I think that telling somebody up front what's wrong with you. I mean, you don't have to go in great big detail about it. I mean, I've gone as far as just raising up my shirt, pulling down my pants just a little bit so that the top shows. And that way they understand. Right now, since I've had the gastric stimulator, I get, when I eat that little sucker, I can feel that thing driving me absolutely bonkers. But when I'm not eating, it's just, I guess it's zapping and I just don't feel it. I guess I feel it zapping because there's food in my stomach. I don't know. I have no clue because sometimes I don't see that food until tomorrow. Like if I eat now, I won't see it till tomorrow. So I'm still not emptying like I should be. So I don't know. Who knows? But please subscribe. Check out my other websites. Subscribe to those. And I hope you learned anything from this because I wish somebody else would have told me. And I just had to learn it on my own. So you guys have a good day. Peace. Love you.